like lemonade. We both know it's bittersweet. This sorrowness will bite your tongue. No one is forever young. No. Listen to the rhythm. I'm feeling brand new. Keep pushing forward. It's gonna save you. Never look down, love. Not when we shine so bright. I know the sun is getting warmer, but when we soar away among the clouds, the sky is just a border. But when we're floating up like helium,
You're a monster.
I can see the truth. No, you don't have to lie to me. Don't fill your head with things and think you're free. I can smell the fear. I think you made it clear. Yeah, I could be rude, be in the mood. I could be rotten. I could be cool, mind like a fool, but never forgotten. Creeping in the dark, waiting for you. You won't like what you see. Yeah, I feel like a monster, and I'm just here to haunt you. I've become your nightmare, slipping in your dreams. I'm the definition of the worst kind of mean. Yeah, I feel like a monster, and I'm just here to haunt you. I've become your nightmare, slipping in your dreams. I'm the definition of the worst kind of mean. Yeah, I feel like a monster. 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 Yeah, I feel like you can hold me back. Yeah, I'm coming for you. I'm not here to on you. No, I'm just telling you the facts. Oh, these chains can keep me down. Yeah. I can be rude, be in the mood. I can be rotten. I can be cool, mind like a fool, but never forgotten. Creeping in the dark, waiting for you. Yeah, I feel like a monster, and I'm just here to haunt you. I've become your nightmare, slipping in your dreams. I'm the definition of the worst kind of mean. Yeah, I feel like a monster, and I'm just here to haunt you. I've become your nightmare, slipping in your dreams. I'm the definition of the worst kind of mean. Yeah, I feel like a...
You don't believe in monsters, do you?
Of course not.
I do.
See me change into something darker. Yeah, I feel like a monster, and I'm just here to haunt you. I've become your nightmare, slipping in your dreams. I'm the definition of the worst kind of mean. Yeah, I feel like a monster, and I'm just here to haunt you. I've it's a hot day, I'm hanging in the sunshine. You should hit me with the splash gun so I cool down. Won't you come on over? We can party till the sun's down. Baby, let me buy you a drink while we're dancing a blink. I could go for some Queen Bee too. Macy's going boom boom. Baby, if you're looking for some crazy, I'll tell you everybody's standing in a line for the water slide. You can come on over. We can take the roller coaster. And you know everybody's looking for a ride in the water slide. Water slide. Surfing on a wave of good feelings. Well, it's just another Friday in paradise. So bring your A game, cause you know this party won't stop. We could never run out of time, sipping strawberry lime. You know I wanna share it with you. Macy's going boom boom. Baby, if you're looking for some crazy, I'll tell you everybody's standing in a line for the water slide. You can come on over. We can take the roller coaster. And you know everybody's looking for a ride in the water slide. Water slide. It's getting kinda crazy up in here. Got that DJ playing music, everybody wants to hear it. It's getting kinda crazy up in here. Everybody wants a ride in the water slide.
3, 4.
If you're looking for some crazy, I'll tell you everybody's standing in a line for the water slide. You can come on over. We can take the roller coaster. And you know everybody's looking for a ride in the water slide. Water slide. Water slide. Just where it was needed.
Yo! What's up, everyone? Happy Saturday. Patrick, how you doing?
Morning. Pretty good. What about you?
I'm living the dream as always, but I am a little under the weather today.
Ah,
I may have to go take a nap after this stream. So allergies are getting the best of me. So, but it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone. So happy to be here. Chat is lively as always. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We do have some questions in the queue. We'll get to that in a second. First off, if you are new to Guy in a Cube or just the live stream in general, put hashtag new in the chat. We always love seeing the new faces. I already saw a few folks say they were new the first time here, so love that as always. While that's going on, also shout out to the members of Guy in a Cube. You folks help us do what we do. And it is just very much greatly appreciated as always. So David Pruitt, latest member. Thank you so much, David. If you see folks with the green name or like the Guy in a Cube logo next to their name, those are members of Guy in a Cube. So we just love having everyone come along with us and just helping to support us. So Love it, love it, love it. You can check out the link on the screen, or you can check the join button down below to learn more. No commitment required, or it's just greatly appreciated. All right. So some news. We got RJ Fraser, we got Joel, we got Kieran. Herman is new. Funny Videos is new. Ooh, I wonder what Funny Videos has. Sachin is new. Christian in the chat completed the initial warm-up. Love it. Yeah, Christian, you're not new. You've been around for a while.
Hey, is it only 2,000 to 200,000? Is that true?
What are you talking about?
Somebody said that in the chat. Subscribers. Is it only 2,000 to 200,000 subscribers?
What's the context?
How many subscribers do we have on the YouTube channel?
We have 100.
Somebody posted
198,000 right now.
All right,
we're getting close to 200,000.
Right.
Next week or the week after will be the big 200,000. Yeah. So it's 2K till we get to 200. Yep. Excited about that.
I know that.
Yeah. We're getting there. Cabello new. Joe Quinn's first time live watch. Welcome. Greg is vintage. Who else we got? PA Beaters Ancient. Surendra is new. Elias is new. Wow. All right. Lots of new folks. Man, last week was a lot of new folks also. This week is new as well. So welcome, everyone. Love having you here. 200,000 subscribers. That's a big deal. We're excited. So if you want to just help support us as well, hit the subscribe button. It's always appreciated as well. All right, question time. What?
I'm reading Miss Belinda's comment. She's like, "Hey, Pat, Adam's not feeling well. You got to spell everything out for him."
Yeah, that's not just because I'm not feeling well, Belinda. That is a normal thing. There'll be times Patrick is trying to explain something to me. I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? I have no idea. Ask Chatmaster C. She'll agree as well. She'll be like, yes. Oh, Stefano is new as well. Awesome.
200K.
All right. Yeah. All right. So questions. We've got a couple questions in the queue. Please put Q: in front of the question. You do not have to repeat it. Herman, I saw your comment earlier about they sometimes get lost. They don't get lost. They never get lost. Unless we crashed and then had to reboot. Sometimes then it gets lost. But that's been rare. But normally they get queued up. We just don't get to all of them. So sorry, we only have so much time. But yeah, get them, put Q: in front of your question. Chatmaster C standing by to get it queued up. Please do not spam your question or repeat it. One time is all you need, and then we've got it. If you spam your question, we have a 3 strikes rule here on Guy in a Cube. You will get put in a timeout. Chatmaster C will do it. Any of our moderators who have the blue text on their name with a wrench next to them, they can also put you in a timeout. So they will help out as they can. Also of note, Matthew Roach is not in the house today. Well, he's never been in this house, but he's not in the chat today. He is out at a sword competition in Vegas. So best of luck to him. There is a competition being live streamed at, I want to say 6 p.m. Central tonight. So 4 p.m. Pacific on live stream. I don't know what the link is off the top of my head. So, but yeah, that is going on. So best of luck to him. All right. Questions. Members, hold your questions till the second half. We will have a members only chat where only members and moderators can participate in the chat. And then everyone can still watch, but only the members and whatnot can participate. So super chats always take priority. So super chats are always appreciated as well. All right. Are you ready, Patrick?
Yep.
First one coming out of the gate is Herman's question. Are you ready for some standard deviation?
No.
I showed this to Patrick earlier, and he's like, what is that? So, all right.
Yeah, no.
All right.
No.
So Herman's got a question. Need to compute the standard deviation of customers' time span between orders to identify regular buying cycles forecasting. Standard deviation's easy, but how do you do the time span series per customer in DAX? All right, so I'm gonna
not even paying attention to that.
I'm gonna jump over to my machine and show you what I came up with. I'm pretty sure there were some things in the chat, there was some follow-up that Herman had, and I'm pretty sure what I'm about to show is not going to answer his question. But I'm going to show it anyway because I thought it was cool.
But why show it then? Why show it?
Well, because I think it's still useful to. There's some good points in it. It's just well, and also I don't understand the entire context of what your goal is. So specifically, you said in DAX, and so I'm gonna maybe challenge that a little bit, and then we'll see where the chat goes with it. All right. So enough of all this talking. Patrick, you know what we like to do. Let's do what? Head over to my machine.
Head over to my laptop.
All right. All right. Oh, wow. My little transition thing didn't fire. That was weird.
Yeah, that didn't work very
well.
well.
All right. All right. So here we go. This is my answer, Herman. There you go. I'm just kidding. I'm half kidding. This is actually... So what I did, Herman, is I went through and I actually created a measure first. Then I just whipped this up with some sample data I had. So it's not, I don't have your data set. So what I'm doing first is I'm getting the average of my total sales amount. So, and I'm doing this one is specifically per day. And then what I've also got is I've got my standard deviation that's also on the same slice. So it's also on day as well, right? And then what I've got is this table and then this line chart are using the day segments. I also did the same measures from a month perspective. And then from the time series perspective, so this is where I didn't understand the in DAX part. I'm like, in this case, I'm taking advantage of the filter context, right? And so based on how I'm setting up my visual, it's doing the slicing based on the time series. And then I'm visualizing that from a line chart perspective. And then if I want to do it like per customer or whatever your dimension is, so in this case, I can look at Southeast, I can look at Northwest, and then I can see what the averages are compared to the deviation. So this is a way to go about doing it. The thing to keep in mind though is you want to make sure that the slice that you're going on from the measure perspective is the same. So in this case, my slice per month and my average sales per month, those are in the same visual. So I wouldn't want the average per day and then the sales per month because that would get a little weird. So you just got to make sure that those are the same. So that was what my answer was, but based on some of the follow-up chat, I know you wanted specifically in DAX. It's a little more complicated, and I didn't have time to whip that together. That would take a little more investigation on my part. I did do some searching. There's a bunch of articles that talk about the standard deviation part, but also the slice here. There was an article from Rob Colley that I found from 2013 that he called this out as well. I'm just going to drop that in the chat, where he was talking about making sure that the slices that you're doing in your measures are the same. There are other articles out there as well. So I would just challenge, why do we have to do the whole thing in DAX versus taking advantage of filter context based on what your end goal is? So that's kind of where I was going with that. Oh, hey, it worked on that one. All right.
Ooh,
all right.
I'm still awake.
I'm
still awake.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought you'd be proud of me, Patrick.
Oh, no. The first time you showed it to me, it was great. The second time, yeah, no.
I did some DAX, though.
No, it's great. The first time, it was phenomenal.
All right.
Phenomenal.
All right. I don't think Patrick liked it. All right. All right. Hopefully that gives you some pointers, Herman, or sparks some ideas in your head. Best of luck on that. Okay. CT's got a question here. How do you even begin to solve unexpected error when you're trying to connect to a remote SQL server in data flows? The same connection works fine under Power Query and Power BI Desktop. That's a Patrick question right there.
No, it's not really not. It's really, no, it's really not.
That's an Adam question.
It's really not.
All right, so here it is. Unexpected error is not helpful.
No.
Just going to say that right now, because it doesn't tell you anything. Now, there are a couple things. This is, I'm just going to share with you my thought process on how I do this. I was in support for 10 years, actually focusing on SQL connectivity and like reporting services, analysis services. So connectivity troubleshooting is like I love that. That's also where I got all my Kerberos stuff. It's all there. And I still get Kerberos stuff from a gateway perspective. I love it. So
It's like Kerberos. It just works.
exactly. That's right.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
All right. So typically if we're in the context of we're trying to connect to something and we're saying we get an unexpected error, my first thought goes to we had a connectivity error of some kind, right? So it's probably not a timeout, although it might be, but there might be like some either network communication issue or something of that nature. When troubleshooting though, it's helpful to get the specific error message that's actually happening. There are two possibilities in this case. If you're connecting to a remote SQL server, and I don't care that it's data flows or a data set, like to me, that doesn't matter because it's all the same. It's kind of the same thing. You're going to have two cases here. One, you're either connecting to it directly, like it's an Azure SQL database and Power BI is just connecting directly to that. If that's the case, that's the harder scenario because you don't necessarily have a way to get the underlying error. If the other option is you're going through a gateway, right? So either it's a SQL on-prem database or it's an Azure SQL database or BigQuery or some other data source that you're having to go through your network infrastructure because you've got it locked down from like a firewall or a VNet or something like that. If you're going through the gateway, there's hope because you have the gateway logs and you should be able to see the error in the gateway logs. And so what I do is I go look at those gateway logs and I just start searching for exception, the word exception. And so you're going to see like a SQL exception or something from an ADO.NET perspective that is an actual exception. And then I go look for what the real error message is. And then from there, that points me in a given direction. So maybe it works on desktop because it's on your machine and you have direct network connectivity to it. If you're going through a gateway, you're going through the gateway and the gateway can't actually connect to it, or you're doing a direct connect and it's like VNet and you can't connect to it. So that could be why one works versus another. All right. Anyway. Ooh, like Jessica's
Good
comment.
troubleshooting.
Yeah.
Good.
Sorry, I got on my soapbox
Scooby-Doo.
there a little bit. That's my.
Scooby-Doo.
You can't tell. I'm passionate about connectivity.
You're Scooby. You're Scooby.
Yes. And so like I said, for data flows or for a data set, if it's going through the gateway, there's going to be gateway logs, and so you should be able to get the underlying error there. If you're not going through the gateway and all you've got is unexpected error and the activity ID, you're going to have to call support because they've got access to the backend logs and you don't. So of note, neither do Patrick and I. So,
Nope.
So you got to go through support. So cool. All right. Love connectivity. All right. Maria. With MySQL, how can I have real-time data in reports? Oh, Patrick likes real-time.
But dude, yeah. This, does MySQL have direct query? Does it support direct query?
I don't know. Does it? Let's go look.
Let's see. I'm about to
Go look. I'm just going here. Let me go over. Let's do MySQL. I pulled up my desktop. MySQL database. Let's do connect. Oh, I don't have the components installed, so I'm not gonna be able to see.
It should still pop up though, right? It should still pop up.
No, it doesn't. You get the error if you don't have the components. You can also check the documentation shows it as well.
Yeah.
But Maria
I
in the
didn't think
chat
it
is
did.
saying
Kevin.
that it doesn't support direct query.
Yeah. So if it does not, then you're gonna have to come up with a creative way to do this, right? Streaming data flows could be an option, but then you got to somehow get that data into the event hubs, and maybe you make an API. You'd have to get really creative with pushing that data.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to do it out of the box with Power BI. Although, I mean, you could set up a streaming data set too, but it's the same thing you're saying, Patrick. You got to set up something, and so you're going to pump something through the PowerShell commandlet based on the data that's in MySQL. Yeah. So
if you ever watch any video that I do on real time, it's just PowerShell. So you go create a streaming data set, you get the script for it, replace it with your data. But I mean, it's going to be some work. But I'm going to back up though and go, why do you need real time? Is there some?
There's Alexa.
And so, has there been any negotiation between the report consumers and yourself to see if hey, do we really need real time before you
All right.
just give it to them.
Here, I'm going to show this as well. So, so yes, absolutely. What Patrick said, like, what does real time mean, and do you really need it?
Yeah.
But the other thing I'm going to show is there are custom connectors that are out there. So I'll just jump back over to my machine. So like I always check cdata.com because they usually have a bunch of connectors that are available. There's others as well.
Yeah.
But the MySQL Power BI connector, look at that, real-time data access direct query. So they do direct query over that. So that may be an option too. It's a paid option though, so you have to pay for it. So it's probably, it might not be ideal for your scenario, but like there are some things there. So check that out. What are you laughing at?
Rich Brooks said, Alexa, preface your questions with Q colon.
Ooh, Alexa's about to go into a timeout. Nice.
Kevin Arnold said, I just ordered more stuff.
I've actually tried doing that while Patrick and I are on calls. Like I try to get Alexa to do something. So because Patrick also has Alexa set up for like his lights and stuff, so I'll be like, Alexa, like power down.
It's not her name anymore though. It's not Alexa. I changed the name.
All right. So Maria, hopefully that helps you out. All right. And Kesh. In a Power BI app, can we share a dashboard with a user without sharing the report?
I thought about that, Adam, because even though, that's a good one, Paul. That's a good one. We'll circle back to that. That's a good one, Paul.
Yeah.
Even if I go in the workspace and I share it and I disable the report, so the report is not shared with the app, if I still share the dashboard, when you click the dashboard, you got to go to the report that hosts that element. So I haven't tested this, so I'm not quite sure.
I go back to the why.
That you can,
right? Like
yeah,
why would you want that? The other thing to think about too is if you publish your app with so first off, if you publish an app, you're not sharing the individual elements in there, you're sharing the app. So whatever's in the app, they're gonna have access to. Now, if you publish the app with only the dashboard, and then you if you click on the tile elements, as Patrick said, that should send you into the report. But like if it's that, I don't know how that would work though. So like if you don't have access to the underlying workspace and you have the app, but the report's not in the app, I don't think that would even work.
Yeah.
So that would be something to look at. The other thing that's coming out, it's in the release wave for wave 2, is the upcoming permissions for apps, for content in the apps. And so that may be a way to also control what that is, but that's going to be later. So
I'm going to be honest here. So when you told me you were doing that video, I was like, that is not going to be anybody. No one's going to watch that video. The future Power BI future, the one you did this week.
Yeah.
And I watched the video and I was like, that's a good video. That's a good video.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a good video. Did you read the comments? It's a good video.
Yeah,
but let's go back to Paul's. Yeah, go back to Paul's point.
All right.
Great point about the real time. You use paginated reports. Because
no. Wait,
directly.
There's another comment that Paul's got that I don't know that I like.
Okay, well.
That's not cool.
Well.
That's not cool.
Well.
Anyway,
well,
no, I can't.
well,
Paul's a good guy. Paul's a good guy. He didn't mean it in a mean way.
But the paginated idea, that's a great idea for MySQL, because if they do need real time, then you can, go directly to it and it's going to query the data source. So that's a great point, Paul. Yep. Great point.
I don't know if
Chris Finland would be proud.
Chris Finland would approve of that. I was just going to say, I don't think he's in the chat.
Yeah, Chris Finland would be proud of that. He would be sad that we didn't come up with it, though. He'd be sad that we didn't come up with it.
More so that you didn't come up with it, not so much me.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
I guess so.
So Chris said, why not composite models? And the challenge there, Chris, is the direct query part. So in the context of the question with MySQL, the default connector doesn't support direct query, so that wouldn't work.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So, I mean, if you had direct query support, yeah. So maybe it's a good thought. All right. Moving on here. Vetsai. I'm trying to use report bursting feature. Ooh, with the help of Power Automate. Patrick did a video on this. But I need to filter that report based on the synced slicer. Any use case in that scenario? You can't do bursting with the slicers, so.
But there's options in the when you set it up in Power Automate to use filters and bookmarks and things like that. Yeah. And so I'm wondering, and I haven't tried this. I don't know.
Not the slicers though.
You can't set it for.
No, but you do the filters. The filters will do it for you.
Yeah, the filters will do it, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to look at the one that I created.
It's yeah, because the slicers you can't pass in that way, but the filters you can, and the filters will filter the data model. So like you can filter a dimension, and then that would account for in the bursting.
That's right. That's right.
I know it's right.
I'm looking at the report.
That's why I said it.
And so the report level filters and bookmarks, but it won't sync the slicer though.
Right. Well, but just do it with the filter, and then what's it matter? I don't care about the slicer.
Because the filter will apply to every page.
Right.
Just put it as a page.
Well, because you're filtering the data model, you're not filtering the report page.
Well, but it's they have report level filters. So if I do a report level filter and filter that report at the report level, it'll filter all the pages. Because he wants to sync. I'm assuming he wants to sync it across
I know,
pages.
but I'm from an API perspective though. When you pass in a filter, it's on the data model. It's not on a report page.
Gotcha.
And that's from an API. You're coming at it from an API perspective. You don't have user interactions on the report, so
yeah, gotcha.
That's what you got to think about there. So the slicers, from that context, I don't care about the slicers.
Nope.
So it's all about filters, bookmarks you can supply, things of that nature.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Cool.
I'm glad I didn't delete that flow.
Yeah, me too. All right. Another question. How are we doing on time? Wow, time goes by so fast. How to configure incremental refresh with changeable future data using monthly partitions. Well, that's what incremental refresh does, doesn't it? Hey, no, that's what incremental refresh. Oh, the future. This was what Micah was doing. Yeah.
And Micah did it, and I have it in the email somewhere. He sent me. He did it. I don't remember how he did it. Who asked this question? What's the name?
Yeah, roll Turnbull.
But Micah actually did it. The solution that I came up with was kind of.
Yours was a little janky.
Yeah, it was not a little janky.
Micah's was good.
It was a lot of janky.
Yeah, we'll have to get that from Micah. You should do a video on it.
Roll the bull.
Roll Turnbull. We'll watch it.
Yeah, I will. I'll send Micah an email and figure out how he did it, and then I'll do a. I'll do a video on it.
You don't remember how? Like I thought. What was he doing? Because I
remember, man.
Didn't he have like a disconnected table or something that had?
Yes.
Like to get what that future range was. Yeah, and there was some function that did it.
There was some function that did it.
Yeah. It's not straightforward is the answer.
Nope.
but
it's not on this machine.
But it was done. So we will get something together for it. So.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. Cool. All right. Patrick loves his incremental refresh.
I do.
All right.
Yeah,
Jerry's got a question here. Is having Azure Synapse, and I'm assuming DF is Data Factory, and Power BI under the same umbrella a big deal going forward? So I think Jerry's referring to Arun's tweet that he put out about there was a reorg on the product side. So Arun now owns Azure Synapse. So Arun Ulag is the VP for, so he was the VP for Power BI. He's now owns, in addition to Power BI, also has Azure Synapse, parts of Data Factory. My understanding is it's not all of Data Factory. And so, yeah, so they're all kind of under the same leadership now, which is, I personally think it's great. I think the alignment makes sense. I think it's going to remove some of the boundaries, like all the connector stuff is under Arun now as well, which it wasn't previously. So all the connectors that are used in Power BI and Power Platform, those were not under Arun. They are now. And so having all of that, I think it removes some barriers, right? Because different teams
Makes a better story.
Yeah. Well, but it's like if they're all marching towards the same goal and under the same leadership, it's easier to direct that. Whereas if they're split across different leaders, they have different potential goals that they're marching towards, and sometimes those don't align and can cause a little bit of friction. Yeah. But now they're all under the same. So it'll be interesting to see over the next year or two, like how that plays out. So I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful and excited. So cool. Good question. All right. We got a little more time. All right. All right. Erwin, I see you have a question here, but I also saw later on you had a 4-part one that looks a little insane. So let me go through the 4-part one and I'll hand that over to Patrick. Part 1, I was going through a definitive guide to DAX. Marco's in the chat. Regarding row context, my understanding is that it takes the entire table to memory. Part 2. Then iterates the rows and evaluates expressions for each row. And if the formula is used with some X or any other X iterator, then it will perform the operation, else each row with the evaluation expression will be returned.
Man, that is so much.
There's one more. There's one more.
Oh.
All right. So any X iterator will have the same result always for each other. But if no X function, then the result for each row. All right. The iterator, you're right. It's going to go row by row and perform that expression.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So if you're not using the iterator function, it's just going to sum the column, right? And so you're just getting the sum on the individual column. Not sure what the question is there.
So that's what. So Paul Turley read. I think he just read my mind. I think Paul Turley just read my mind. If you're doing import, it's all in memory already.
Well, but there's other things to consider depending on your DAX. It could materialize something based on what it's trying to express.
So, but that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about. We're talking about materialization. We're not talking about putting it in memory because it's already in memory. Paul, I thought I felt like we were talking to each other. I was like, wait a minute, it's all in memory. So,
Erwin, my answer to you is going to be it depends. Because like, what if you're wrapping that let's say sum x? What if you're wrapping the sum x and you wrap it in a calculate and then you have some other filter expression there that needs to be materialized for some reason or another, right? That could bloat memory. So I love Marco's comment here. Don't make assumptions about the performance. Conceptually, you have the calculation made for each row. That's it. Yep. And then measure it. Use tools like DAX Studio to go and measure it. Get a baseline and then figure out what changed and where you can optimize. So your mind is an open book to me, Patrick. I love it. All right.
When he said put it in memory, I was like, it's already in memory. And then Paul's thing came up. I was like, wait a minute. Is he reading my mind?
Yeah. See, that's the difference between you and me, Patrick, is my mind is like direct query, not import. So I didn't even go there. All right, Chatmaster C has cleared the queue. Members, get your questions in. I'm about to cut over to member-only chat. So if you're a member, you can keep chatting away with us. If you're not a member, you can still watch the chat and watch the stream and listen to the answers, but you won't be able to participate directly in the chat. If you do have a burning question, super chats always take priority. So cutting over to member-only chat. All right, and while those are coming in and getting queued up, one of the benefits of some of the member tiers are that you can pre-submit questions, right? And so we do have some members that have pre-submitted some questions, and so we're going to go through those. Are you ready, Patrick?
Yeah.
All right, Here we go. First member pre-submitted question from Eric. Bam. I'm running into a problem with aggregation of valuation fields not working in my matrix table after I create a calculation group. Please, Patrick, you're my only hope.
Let's head over to my laptop.
Okay, I hit the wrong button.
All right.
I went back to you.
Okay.
All right, now your desktop's
So,
up, and it's really small, by
we
the
go.
way. So
I'm gonna zoom.
Okay.
Just
Please
hold
zoom.
your horses.
please zoom.
Okay. So I have this little simple model, and thanks for sending some data over. And you
Yes.
can see
Oh
right
yeah.
here,
Oh yeah.
I
Real
have-
quick. So Eric, when he sent
Yeah.
the question, he had some Power BI desktop files that he sent with custom data as well. Very much appreciated. You rock, Eric.
Yeah, very much appreciated. And so you can see that default summarization is turned on. You don't, these are implicit measures. You don't see any explicit measures here. It's implicit measures. So I'm gonna talk about two things. And I'm gonna do a video on this. I'm gonna do a follow-up video on this because this is like the second or third time I've gotten this question. And so you can see there's the implicit measure. So I'm gonna go to Trusty Tabular Editor 3. Thank you, Daniel, for such a great tool. And it's gonna open up. And I want you to pay attention to when I create my calculation group. I'm not going to add any calculation items or anything like that. I want you guys to pay attention to this little sigma symbol right here. See what happens. So I'm gonna go here on tables. I know it's small, it's okay. I'm gonna say create a calculation group, and then I'm just gonna save it back to my model. And when I save it back to my model, what happened right there, right? So default
gone.
summarization is gone.
It's gone.
That's because when you create calculation groups, there's a property on the model.
But I miss it. I need the sigma
there's a property
symbol.
here called Discourage implicit measures. Okay, discourage implicit measures mean, hey, I'm going to turn off, right? Default summarization is going to be off for all these. So that's the first part. So when you use calculation groups, your implicit measures goes away. So if I try to go and use a calculation group here, because I don't have any implicit measures, now the second part is because I don't have any explicit measures, right? So calculation groups don't work with implicit measures, they work with explicit measures. And if you think about it, right, when I go over here and open Tabular Editor and I create my calculation items, which I've already done here, and I've created an explicit measure over your amount field, and now you can see it's working, right? And so when I go here and I create my calculation items in my calculation group,
it was very small.
Here we go. When I create my calculation item, it says selected measure. An implicit measure won't be picked up by selected measure, only explicit measures. So that default summarization is going to actually protect you against yourself because it can't use it. So you have to make explicit measures. And then who submitted this question, Adam? Eric. Once you do that, Eric, and I'll send this file back to you, you'll see I created this explicit measure right over your amount field. And then I dropped that into the matrix and all the world is great now.
Damn.
So the short answer to that, I just did that because I'm practicing my video on you guys.
I was going to say, you were going to do a video on this, right?
I'm totally doing a video on this, right?
We talked about that before. Yeah.
But the short answer is you need to make an explicit measure and then it'll work.
Yeah. Yep. Nice.
Yep.
All right. Second pre-submitted question. Mr. Thomas, if I have a data set with a confidential classification in Power BI, and I'm using deployment pipelines, not development pipelines, deployment pipelines, dev, test, prod, how can I secure that this database or data set will be kept in the pipeline and never shared outside the pipeline? What are the right combinations of workspace, pipeline, and data set permissions? Love it. All right, let me go. We're going to go over to my machine. So first off, the classification. So right now I've got a sensitivity label listed as confidential. Of note, has nothing to do with any of this conversation. So in my pipeline, and you'll see I've got pipeline, I've got dev, test, and prod. All of that's flowing through. It's fine. This really comes down to how you're giving access to the actual workspaces. So let me go to my production. And so from an access perspective, if they're like admin, member, contributor, they're going to be able to admin and member will be able to share those items and be able to create on those. Contributors should be able to create on data sets as well. So really you want to focus on the viewer permission. And then from the viewer permission, if we're just looking at the workspace, If you had a viewer here, let me add Mr. John Doe. And then you'll see a couple different options here. I'm gonna just uncheck everything, grant access. We'll see that he only has read as a viewer, but I can add in this build permission. Build permission allows them to be able to create reports off the data set from other workspaces and whatnot, that was what you were trying to avoid. The same thing from an app perspective. So if I go here, let's go to my update app. From an app permission perspective, you want to make sure that that is not checked, because if you allow build permission in your apps, they're going to be able to build off of that data set. So really it's about controlling the build permission. Now for the admin, the members and the contributors, that's an education thing, right? Because they're gonna see it. So you need to be able to educate them on how you want them to use it internally, and then you can use some of the governance things to kind of track that. So audit log, there's some admin APIs that are coming out very soon to see who's got access to what. You can check content items and map that to data sets, so you can kind of see what's using what data set from a lineage perspective. So those are things that you would have to do to just audit and govern those items. So cool. All right, what are you laughing at?
So Johnny W said he's annoyed that John Doe's naming doesn't follow the same naming standard as ASAC's.
I did that just for you, Johnny. That was for you. That's my goal in life.
That was a good explanation. Also, that was a good explanation.
Yep. All right. So Fong and Tom, thank you for becoming members of Guy in a Cube. Very much appreciated. Thank you. All right, Thomas, I saw you thought that was a great explanation as well. Thank you. All right. Next. So this is the final pre-submitted question from Tom. Are you ready, Patrick?
Oh yeah.
I've inherited a data model that is, shall we say, less than optimized, aka it's an ugly baby. I need to figure out which of the hundreds of columns being imported are unneeded. I'm not lazy. I just want to be efficient. Looking at you, Patrick. What's the best way to do that?
Lots of tools. There's lots of tools out there, man. There's Radicad's got one. I do believe Imka Feldman has one.
Yes.
And you know what? Johnny W just pointed out a good thing, but that's from a model perspective, Johnny. The BPA, the tablet editor.
Oh,
BPA,
and there's some things you got to be aware of if you do that, though.
Yeah, and so that's from a model perspective. But I like Stephanie Bruno's, and let me show you. Can you?
Yeah, that's what Johnny just put in there. Field Finder.
Yeah, I like Stephanie's because while it doesn't show you the fields that are not used, it shows you the fields that are used. And I really like, because she puts this little I don't know what this is at the top, but it's like, what visual is this? This is a Chiclet Slicer, maybe. Oh, this is a table. All right, matrix. And so right here at the top, she's got these, it shows you each page. And if you choose a page, it shows you all the fields that are used on every page. And there's some other things, page details and some resources and stuff. And so I probably would combine this with the best practice analyzer to find the fields that are being used by my model and the fields that are being used, by my visuals, and kind of go take that route. So it's not an easy thing to do, but definitely, hey, I would definitely do this before you start trying to optimize that model.
Yep. So the thing, just to call out the BPA rules, the thing to understand with that is that's only looking at the data model. It's not accounting for what's used in the visuals. So that's the thing to be aware of there. So yeah. So I'm not partial to the field finder because Stephanie is a really good friend of mine. It's actually a really good tool. It is really a really good tool. And then Reza's got the BI helper as well, and then Imka's item over at BI accountant. Yep.
Johnny W is on this morning.
Yes. Oh, I agree. I had a conversation with a customer not too long ago where they actually said that because they were like, "Do we still need this report?" They're like, "Why don't we just delete it and just wait till someone yells?" Because they were like, everyone was tossing their hands. They were like, we have no idea. Like, we don't know. Like, let's just get rid of
break the connection.
Just
break
get
the
rid of it.
connection to the data source. That's what I do. I break the connection to the data source.
Yeah.
Just break
Leave
the
it
connection.
for a month and then get rid of it.
Yeah. He's on this morning.
Yeah. All right.
That's a good
Cool.
one.
All right. So moving on to the questions in the queue. Michael. All right. What's the best way to get the last refresh time for all data flows within a workspace? Is there a way to get the refresh history as well? Oh, I love that question. Hang on.
Is there APIs
Oh,
for
yes.
that?
Oh, yes.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh, yes. Let's see. Refresh.
I didn't know there were APIs for data flows.
So I'm looking. Actually, let me put this on the screen. We shall all look together. Let's do that. All right. Get rid of that. So under data flows, I'm not seeing refresh history. Whereas under data sets, I do see refresh history. That's interesting. We don't have an API for. There's a refresh data flow, so you can call the refresh, but we don't actually expose refresh history for data flows. What?
I didn't think so.
What?
I didn't think so.
What
I didn't
the
think so.
French toast?
Yeah, you should replace French toast with the real thing on that one, my friend.
Yeah. But you can
is
update
not
the
there.
refresh schedule, but you can't get the refresh history. Okay, well, I don't have a good answer for you then. I was thinking there was an API for it that you could get it. Hopefully that comes out at some point. That would be great to have. Let me just look at real quick. Look at the
somebody said
admin
there's
APIs.
Somebody, David Cousins said Wave 2 has mention of new refreshes
2?
view for all refresh. That's what he said.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean API. So if we go look at the release notes, release wave 2, Power BI, what's new? Yeah, I remember seeing there were some refresh things. Where is it? Enhanced Insight reports, Where is it? I remember seeing something about that. It was under premium. Yeah, improve refresh oversight for administrators and refresh center. That does not necessarily mean APIs though. I hope it means APIs. I hope it means parity between those, but that's not I would not make that assumption. So, yep. Fernando, it's coming with the dark mode theme. Yeah. No, that's hopefully something they do get in. Not having refresh history on the data flow. So the only way, so Michael, the only way I know how to do it then is to go through the UI and click. And yeah, that's not ideal. I don't have another way to do it though. Without having an API to go extract it, I have no idea. So, all right. Sorry about that. Deepak. All right, Patrick, video idea for you. Can you do a video on integrating Visio with Power BI?
I wrote it down.
What is that? What was that?
I wrote it down on. You remember I bought this thing, right?
Yeah.
And so I just wrote that. I wrote
You
that
wrote
down.
it on a box that's on your desk.
Yeah, so I can remember. Yes. Great idea. I
You
like
know,
the Visio. I do.
You can get like a notepad or something where you can write things down, or
just wrote it down.
you have a whiteboard like right near you.
But that's way over there.
Oh my gosh.
That's way over there. I wrote it down.
It's on the box.
I got you.
Deepak, it's on the
got you.
box.
Deepak, I got you.
It's on the box.
The
in
man is
queue.
paperless. The man is paperless. Leave him alone. Very high tech. I'm very high tech, man.
The
Very
whiteboard
high
is paperless as well. I'll just add that. So, all right.
All right. So with that, right? With that,
Check out Chris's.
I'm in. I know.
Wrote it on some garbage. 100% locked in. Hey, I will share though, the fact that he actually wrote it down is hopeful, right? Because there's a lot of stuff we do where we don't write it down. The next day we're like, what was that thing? No idea. We didn't write it down.
So
it's written
I'm in the
down.
process
So that's
of
good.
moving.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of changing offices, and so I just don't want to pull out anything. I'm boxing up stuff, so stay tuned. Just kidding. I'm in the process of moving, and so I'm trying to clean things up so the move is easy when I go over to the new office.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. PA Beater. Can we do incremental refresh on-prem or something like it? It's called Partitions. Partitions.
Yep.
So from an analysis services perspective, if you're using analysis services on premises, it's all partitions. Incremental refresh from a Power BI perspective. Think of that as just like a UI that defines the partitions in the data model. So if you actually go look, like if you watch Patrick's videos, he shows you like these are the partitions that are defined. So just, it's just all about, you have to do custom partitions. You have to create it if it's on-prem.
What's great about it is Christian Wade actually, there's a Git repo out there that he put a long time ago, still applicable for analysis services, and it handles like merging, splitting, adding partitions. It's really good.
Well, Michael Kowalski's got his partition manager script for Tabular Editor as well, and that will work against, that should work against analysis services Tabular.
It does. Yeah, it does. You're right.
So you can go check that out as well.
And to introduce that in the video coming up too.
Yep.
There we go.
Yep. Cool. All right. PA Beater said Git Repo. What is that?
Oh, where is it? Let me find.
All right, he's gonna drop it in.
Too bad, Alex.
GitHub.com. Links. Patrick's working on the links. Because I don't think we have Alex. We don't have or Alex Dupree. Hey, Alex.
Too much to learn.
ElegantBI.com is Michael Kowalski's website, and he's got blogs on Partition Manager, which link out to the GitHub repo where it's at. So, all right. While he's doing that, Kevin, do you have a good reference video on how to create a bridge table? You do?
Oh man, what's going on with my machine?
I don't know. It went black.
It went black.
It went black. What? You said you had a good reference? Wiggle the cable.
I don't fucking know what happened. The video I did with the video, the video I did with we were talking about row level security, and we talked about the bridge table.
Yep.
Remember that? That's a good explanation of it.
Okay.
That was a good explanation of it in that video.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know what's
your machine's back. I see your machine again.
Yeah.
All right. So PA Beater, all right, a couple things. So Kevin, first off, so Patrick, look at Patrick's RLS stuff. He does talk about that. I did a quick Bing search, and I did find a couple of blogs that talk about how to do bridge table in Power BI. The other thing is check out like many-to-many relationships as well. So that may help you avoid a bridge table. There's caveats though. So I know like Marco and Alberto on SQLBI.com, they've got stuff talking about relationship types and things of that nature. So go check that out. For the GitHub repo, PA Beater, GitHub is Git is like a repository of things. So think like source control. But a lot of people use it nowadays to share binaries or files or samples, things of that nature, or actual source code projects. So it's very popular in that space. So a lot of stuff you'll see, like even on the Microsoft side, a lot of stuff you'll see is all in what's referred to as Git Repos. So repo is just short for repository. And it's think of it like a folder or a project inside of GitHub or Git. Did you drop it in there? Cool.
I did. And you know what? The good thing about that link out there, it's not just, partition processing, auto scaling, and things like that. He has everything in that repo. So, and he's got blog and article uploads. So if you're trying to learn AS, I think PAB is trying to learn AS, I would definitely bookmark that one and take a look at it.
All right. Chris has got a question. Can you describe Microsoft's Starlight architecture, and what were your top takes always from Microsoft's Starlight implementation?
No.
So when you mention Starlight, I'm aware of some things, but I don't know that I can talk about them yet. Maybe was there an announcement recently?
We can't talk about anything.
Was there an announcement?
Well,
So
I know something was mentioned to me, and it was just like not a big thing. But it's like we don't talk about this.
the other thing I will say first and foremost, that has nothing to do with Power BI.
Yeah.
So, so Chris, I would say, I would say no. We can't describe it at this time. There is a link. Oh, hey, there's a link. I like links. Microsoft's BI transformation. Okay. Does it mention? This says Starlight's powered tabular BI semantic. So in this context of the BI transformation, I think that was the code name for the KPI lake for Microsoft's finance group. That's what I think it is. So that was just the term they used for how they got data into the KPI lake. In terms of the actual overall architecture, the only thing I can really describe for you there is what's in that article. I actually haven't seen it myself, although I know Alex Dupree's in the chat. He may have some context. But yeah, that's
Michael Kowalski and I think Bank. Right?
Yeah, Venkatesh and then Michael Kowalski on the Power BI Cat team were part of that implementation as well. So I don't have any architectures to describe. I also haven't really looked at it. I've seen like some high level stuff, but yeah.
These guys are really smart.
All right. All right. Sorry, Chris. Sorry to disappoint. All right, Zeba. Wait, part 2. Where's part 1?
I think somebody asked him for part 1.
Oh, all right. I don't see part 1. I only see part 2. I create a pre-ag table in BigQuery with some function, product group sales and period. Then will that work with visuals containing regions? Or I have to create a pre-ag table for all the higher grains that manage in Power BI.
So if you're using ags, Zeba, if you're using the native ags.
And my question here also is, are we using manage aggregations in Power BI, or are you just doing a summarized table at the source?
So if you're using manage ags and you set it up properly, it should work, right? As long as you're hitting the grain at the level of your aggregation from your visual, it should absolutely work. If Google BigQuery has things like Synapse or Snowflake where you can use materialized views and it automatically picks it up, it should use your ag. Or are you just importing that ag into the model? If you're importing that ag into the model, and not using managed aggregations, you got to use the fields and columns from that table, and it should work then.
So Zeb is saying basically,
it depends.
Yeah. So he's saying basically, how does managed aggregation work? So I'm going to drop a link in the chat to a playlist we have on our channel for learning about aggregations. I would definitely recommend checking that out. So Patrick did a bunch of videos on different pieces of that. So that may help you out there.
You should go watch it, Zeba, and then if you have more questions, shoot us a note.
So and Zeba, the thing there, that some of the approaches I've seen are where like regardless of whether it's BigQuery, Synapse, Snowflake, what you would do, what I see some people do is they actually build the summarized table in the data source. They import that into Power BI and then build the managed aggregation on that imported table. That's typically how I see folks doing it. There are a lot of different ways you can create that imported table. And Patrick goes through that in his video series on aggregations. But that's one approach I've seen people use. So.
Probably one of the best, and I cannot think of her name. She works with, she lives here in Atlanta, Adam. I can't think of her name. She does a really good aggregation talk, and she has a really good blog post on aggregations.
Shabnam?
Shabnam. That's her name. She has a really good post on aggregations. One of the best, because it really breaks it down, Zeba. I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but I would definitely go take a look at that.
Gavin said Stephanie Bruno did a good video on it too. He thinks.
Okay.
Yeah. So Chris Wagner says auto ags are coming soon. Yes. We all know that auto things are the best things. So I'm hopeful that auto ags will help obviously, because aggregations are a complex topic. The thing I understand on the auto ags piece also is that's going to be specific to Synapse at first. And then hopefully we'll see, other data sources light up for it, like Snowflake and other items. So we'll have to see once it's actually out and see what the announcement says and what the limitations are. But definitely that'll be a cool item to help integrate.
Yeah.
Oh, Zeba's saying Shabnam's articles where they got the idea from.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
And so then I honestly, I would go watch my videos. Mine are basic. Like they kind of they grow up.
I was going to say, they're not all basic.
Okay. They grow up, and then if you still have more, then you can go. Phil Seamark has some really next
Phil
level.
Seamark's. Ooh.
Right.
Yes.
And so Shabnam is the beginning. Then you kind of watch mine in the middle, and then go check out Shabnam's stuff.
And I'm going to put, so I'm dropping Phil Seamark's blog on aggregations. He did a whole, he's got, you want to talk about complex, like he's going, this is beyond even the manage aggregation. So this is even like just overall aggregation strategies, even if you're doing like analysis services of like multi-grained and horizontal, vertical ags, accordion ags, like all it was like, it's like PhD level stuff. So
and
have fun with that.
Thomas, right now, the only way you can implement ags is if you have a direct query table in your model. It's got to be a composite model right now, today. Yep. As of the recording of this
video. The base detail table, yes. The ag tables themselves are imported, but But in the ag table too, I think can also be DQ. Like that doesn't matter.
The ag table can be. Remember, we did that the other day. We did it the other day, and I'm like, what? Why is it taking so long? But I still have my ag table in DQ. So yeah.
But the detail table has to be DQ.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Nice. All right. Michael. Is there a way to use the Lasso selection filter in service when you use a page as a tooltip? Negative. So if you have a report page tooltip, you can't
lasso it. You can't. That's my lasso. You can't lasso it.
It doesn't work. Ideas.powerbi.com. Maybe. I've heard that in other contexts. Like can I slice and dice within the report page tooltip? Like if I'm showing the tooltip and I'm like, I can't get over there. Although the modern tooltips, didn't that like keep the tooltip there? I thought there was something that came out with that.
I have to look.
That's a preview feature, so maybe play around with that. But I don't think that's a thing.
Yeah, that's something I have to look at.
Yep. Cool. All right. Ooh, look at that clock. Holy cow. Okay, we got time for one more. Eric Beery. Here we go. Best practice for managing app access when utilizing shared data sets from other workspaces. Finding it cumbersome to individually grant app users access to all the underlying data sets. Yes. All right. I've had this conversation with some other folks. I know there's other conversations going on about this. It's a little bit of a pain. So the concept here is if I have a data set in app A, right? And I provide build access to other people, that's my app. And Patrick goes and creates a report off of my data set. And then he publishes his app. Well, the problem is the users that are hitting his app also need permissions on the data set in my app. And you got to manage that. And today you've just got to manage it across the two workspaces. It's not elegant, but that's how it works. And some of this also, like coming at it from a certain perspective, I understand that, because from a data set perspective, I don't care who's creating reports on it. I want to control access to who can get to this data set. I don't want to open it wide open, right? And so some of that is just a governance thing. So there's not necessarily an easy way to discover that though. Stay tuned. I know there's some discussions potentially going on about just how all of that works, but nothing that's available in the release waves in terms of what's coming. But get your feedback in. It's always appreciated on that front. But I have heard that before. But today you've got to manage the data set permissions on top of it. So All right. All right, Patrick, that's another live stream down. We did it. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us this Saturday. We always appreciate it. And we will be back next Saturday for another amazing live stream. Any final closing words, Patrick?
I don't think I ever have any. You keep asking me that, and I have no
So
closing
either.
words.
You should start thinking about that.
I don't.
right.
I'm gonna have to think about that. I'm
right.
gonna have to think about that.
All right, everyone. We'll see you. Have fun. Stay safe. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.